What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining. Hope you're having a great one today. As always, I thought it'd be fun to do something different in celebration of 500 subscribers. Thank you very much, by the way, which I know isn't a whole lot, but I was appreciative of it. Anyways, I thought we would do something kind of fun and crack into an old one of mine that I've left in the box for many, many years. We're going to take a look at the Medicom real action hero of the wonderful Miku Hatsune, aka the Vocaloid. If you're not familiar with her, she is a Vocaloid, which is, for normal people like myself, a fancy way of saying a voice synthesizer. It was a program created by Krypton, I want to say. Yeah, Krypton, maybe. Yeah, Krypton. There we go. I was close. But in any event, she's become kind of a pop culture icon of sorts over the years. I really, really like her. I think she's just very cool design. And I bought this a while ago. I left it in the box. Like I said, I do both in-box and out-of-box stuff, but the packaging on this is just fantastic. So for a long, long time, I just kind of had her like this to display. It's really cool box art with this one. But I figured we'll do something different today. We'll bust her open, pull her out, and take a look at all of her plasticky goodness. Now, if you're not familiar with Medicom, the Real Action Hero line, this particular one, I want to say, came out in 2013, give or take. I did not buy it at release. I got it a couple years later. But Medicom's been doing it for a very, very long time. If you are into 6th scale figures and have been for a while, they were pretty much the only place you could go to get any sort of anime stuff. A lot of companies really didn't do a ton of anime figures until recently, which I'm very happy to see that's changed. But if you wanted, Dragon Ball Z, Evangelion, Death Note, Attack on Titan, any of that stuff, you're pretty much stuck with Medicom only. Now, they do also do some other licenses. They have Marvel stuff. They have Star Wars, a whole bunch of different things. But definitely able to get some unique ones, like this lovely little lady there. There you go. Now, a couple things I really just wanted to check in with this figure. One of the things when you buy old stuff... part of her head fell off. That's fun. We'll play with that in a moment. You can change your face. It's going to be a little creepy, but you might actually have to pop her whole head off. And we'll play around with that in a bit. One of the things that can happen when you get figures and leave them in a box for a long time, or even buy ones that have been in a box for a very long while, they'll actually stain a little bit. So I'm going to take a little look. Sorry, darling. We'll try and be somewhat tasteful. Basically just to see if there's any real staining on the plastic at all. Which it doesn't look like it is. So that's kind of handy. Nice there. Good to know. That is kind of one of the bigger concerns you run into, is just the staining on the actual outfit. If it's a seamless figure, you might have issues with the actual arms and stuff like that peeling. You don't have to worry about that with her, which is certainly nice. Honestly, this is a pretty dang cool figure. The clothing and stuff that they do with these, it's really nothing too special. But again, the real reason you go for the Medicom stuff is just to get things that you don't have access to elsewhere. They do, for the most part, all have kind of pretty decent articulation. Now, there are some that have full body suits, like the Evangelion pilots, any of the Gantz figures, those ones, they've got kind of like a fake leather to them. So you're going to have a little bit of restriction there. And definitely not, not quite as stable joint-wise as you might expect some of them would be. Her hair is super heavy, so this does flop around quite a bit, which is a bit of a bummer, but that's all right. We'll make it easy to pose, I suppose. Definitely does have a good amount of articulation. It does seem like I could yank off the outfit if I wanted to and do a body swap if it ever got to that point. I don't think that would be something I'd really need to do for any particular reason, but it does look like it's an option. Now, with Miku, they have made a couple different versions. There's this one, and then they did an alternate, which I believe was the Honey Whip edition. That one's way more expensive at this point. This one I think you can actually still get for pretty close to retail. If we can get her head out of here, let's see. There we go. And the Honey Whip one, I think, is closer to like, you know, the $300, $400, $500 range. So you do get the alternate head if you wanted to change up her expression a little bit, which is nice. Kind of a fun little touch there. A lot of the times the Medicoms don't have removable heads, so my honest assumption is that her face is just going to pull off. And that kind of seems to be the case. It's just a little stubborn. There we go. Yeah, that's not creepy at all. And then you just plop in the happy face and snap her hair back on. And she is good to go. I'm going to have a lot of fun posing her. Honestly, I kind of want to get in a Akatsuki robe and add her to the Naruto lineup. Speaking of which, if you're in the 6-skill world and haven't heard, Rocket Toys did just recently announce a whole bunch of new Naruto stuff that's coming. I will definitely get it when the time comes, but we're ways off. We still haven't gotten Kakashi yet. But they're going to be doing Sasori, Kisame, Hinata, Deidara, and Tsunade, I believe. But I digress. You do get this really super cool Casio-style keyboard. I guess technically Yamaha. Probably should have been more accurate with that. Which honestly, really not a bad design at all. It does just have a generic little stand there. Really nothing too special. I'm honestly intrigued as to how well it's going to stand. Because there's not particularly anything that's going to hold it in place. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know how this would actually support anything. Now, granted, I often say I'm not the smartest person, so it might just be a matter of, you know, oh yeah, simplicity. So you got a screw there. I'm guessing you just tighten it up once you get it the way you want it. That's what I'm going to assume, and it seems logical, so we'll stick with it. You do also get this little fella here, and then a couple changeable hands, which we can take you a little gander at one. You don't get a ton of different accessories and stuff with her, which honestly is fine. This looks like it might just be a little screw cap for the piano itself. Genuinely not too sure. I see no other purpose for that, so I'm going to assume it's to lock the keyboard stand into place. That at least seems logical to me. You get a little clear stand, which I'm not going to bother pulling out because it's noisy and it's just a clear piece of plastic, so nothing really too exciting there. Typically, they've got like a generic crotch grabber type thing. And there you go with just one of the alternate hands. Pretty easy to swap them out on most of their figures. That's basically an extended wrist peg. Now, the downside with Medicom is they aren't really kit bash friendly. You can't, as you can kind of tell from the hands there, those aren't going to work with any other body. So you're really kind of out of luck in that regard. As I am often one to do, I am going to go ahead and pull this base out just in case people wanted to see what it looked like. Again, there really aren't anything special, but does the job. So much tape. That did not go as planned. We dropped some hands. Have to go on a rescue mission. 1, 2. Alright, one fell into the ether. We'll go look for that later. I'm not going to pull it out of this part just because it's really nothing too special. Like I said, it's a basic hinge in the middle, a clear base, and then you get a little grabber there. Which honestly, that little black part might be for adjusting that. Well, that'll do it for this one. I do have some other exciting figures that have come in this week, so I should hopefully get to them ideally within the next day or two, but you know me, I'm lazy. We'll see what we could do. I should have Asuka. I think Shazam's on his way, fingers crossed. I feel like there's some other stuff that's right around the corner, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Well, that'll do it. Thank you all so much as always. Have yourselves a great one.